Hey guys, thanks to those of you that are joining us again. For those of you that are new to these episodes, I'm Sharon Watkins and I'm a recording artist that achieved hundreds of thousands of streams and views in the first year of releasing my music. In previous episodes, we've covered lots on how to prepare for pitching your music to Spotify. Today, I'm simply going to walk you through my most recent release and how I uploaded it for pitching on Spotify for Artists. I think it'll be really useful for anybody that's never pitched to Spotify before, but also for anyone that wants to pick up tips and tricks on how to improve their pitching. If you're an independent artist and you're looking to maximize the time that you spend on the business aspect of your music, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. So let's jump straight in and go over to our Spotify for Artists profile. First of all, you're going to want to click on Upcoming, and there you'll see any upcoming releases pop up. You can see when we were together. And then you're going to want to click on the three dots to the right and Pitch a Song. That's going to then take us on to Choose a Song to Pitch page. And here you can see, because I've only got one upcoming release, When We Were Together is selected. Then you're going to want to click on Next, and we move on to the pitching pages. On this page, you're going to tell Spotify where you were born, your hometown, and also where you're currently based. This is important because some playlists are actually location-based, so it will be the best of music from a certain area. So telling them what your origins and where you live now is really important. We'll talk about how you also use this in developing a local fan base in another episode, but for now, let's just move on. And so we're going to hit Next, and this brings us onto the Add Song Details page. This is a really important page to get right. If you haven't watched my previous episode on how to pin down your genre, now would be a good time to go and watch that before you fill out this page. Getting this genre and subgenre section right is really, really crucial to your pitch. There are over 1,300 different subgenres on Spotify for Artists. So pinning that down means that you're really maximizing your chances of getting on the right playlist. Spotify then gives you the opportunity to add 2 music cultures. So if you're associated with one of those, obviously enter them into your pitch. It then gives us the opportunity to add 2 moods. If you've watched my previous episode on pinning down your genre, subgenre, and mood, then you'll already know that this is really important because a lot of Spotify playlists are mood-based. So making sure your song lands in front of the right Spotify curators, this piece is essential. Next, Spotify gives us the opportunity to enter 2 song styles. And this is golden if your track falls into one of these brackets, so Christmas music, holiday music, or solely acoustic, because you're really pinning down who your track will land in front of so far as curators. Next, you fill out the instruments. Again, be comprehensive with the instruments that you enter, because you never know the type of playlist you might land on. Might be piano music or violin music or orchestral music. Next, we're really just giving that additional information to the Spotify curator about the piece. So is it a cover? Is it a remix? Where was it recorded? Was it recorded live or in a studio? And finally, whether it's an instrumental. And finally on this page, we're going to select the language the lyrics are in. Then we're going to click Next and move on to the Add a Description page. Probably the most essential page in the whole pitch. I would recommend that you prepare your description of your song way before you do this and really hone it and get it in front of a couple of different people. It can only be 500 characters long. It's really important that you have it ready by this point. I'm going to cover in another episode how to develop a really strong Spotify pitch for this description, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. The next section shows you all of the things that the curator is going to be able to see when they're looking at your pitch. So they can see the number of listeners you've recently had, your social media links, and also where your streams and listeners are coming from. So it's really important to make sure all of these are looking healthy. One mistake that a lot of artists make is pumping all of their promotion and all of their advertising around their tracks into just the release. Actually, it's really important to make sure that you have healthy listeners, healthy promotion once you've pitched your next release. So this is a good thing to take into consideration. And then also, obviously, from the moment you hit pitch until you release, a curator could be listening to your music and looking at your Instagram, Facebook, your other social media outlets at any point. So it's important to make sure they're looking really healthy, that you're promoting your music, that you look credible, and obviously a promotion for Spotify doesn't go amiss. The final thing that they get access to is where your streams and listeners are coming from. So it's really important, and I can't stress this enough, that you're not paying for bogus streams. They'll be able to see this immediately from the makeup of where your streams are coming from. And so then we're going to hit next and move on to the make sure everything looks good page. And that just does exactly what it says it does. It gives you the opportunity to check everything that you've put in so far. This point, you can always go back and change things, even the description. So make sure that you really proofread this. What you don't want is for this to be landing with a curator at Spotify who has very limited time to look at your information and listen to your song, and for there to be a glaring mistake that just puts them off straight away. So just make sure everything really represents you as an artist. And if you look down at the bottom of this page, you'll see the reason why I'm continually reminding you in my episodes to make sure that you upload your music to your digital distributor well in advance of the launch. There's so many things that you need to cover between the upload and the launch, and one of them is pitching, but also you want to make sure you pitch well in advance to give the curators opportunity to listen to your music and add it to a playlist. Especially you need it up at least a week before, which I would say would be your absolute minimum, because if you upload your music and pitch it at least a week before with Spotify, you're going to land on release radars, which is just a huge bonus for your algorithm. And now we're going to click pitch, which means your pitch has been submitted, and you should see this page come up that tells you that your pitch has been successful. Now that your pitch is submitted, that doesn't mean that you can't edit it. You can actually go on there and edit your pitch. You'll see it come up in your profile. I think just be wary that you don't want to mess about with it too much once you've submitted it, because you don't know at what point a curator is going to look at your pitch and listen to your music. So I think you really want to make sure when you hit that pitch button that you've got your absolute best work done, rather than counting on editing further down the line. And that's it. You've pitched your music to Spotify and a curator is going to listen to it. It's really difficult to land on an editorial list with Spotify. You have to remember that there's over 100,000 songs being uploaded every day. Although they do say that about 20% of songs submitted end up on some kind of playlist. But at least you know that in pitching well in advance, you're going to land on the release radar, and that's going to do wonders for your algorithm and drive your music. I'm Sharon Watkins. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and keep on creating.